Do you know what a pager is at a funeral?
Yes.
Question.
Yeah. Yeah.
You do. You know what they do?
In front. Yeah. Yeah.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. They can also be called a conductor,
Mm.
and the role is normally carried out by the funeral director.
Yeah.
When my mum was buried, she had a pager. Well, not necessarily her, but the proceedings did. You know
Yeah.
what happened. That had a pager, and the pager does the paging for the cortege as it makes its way from the deceased,
Yeah.
from where the deceased is picked up,
Mm.
normally their house, and
Yeah.
taken to the cemetery to be buried.
Mm. Yeah.
Right. So the pallbearer's job is to carry the coffin from the hearse to the grave.
Mm.
Right. So that's just to differentiate
Yeah.
the difference between a pager and a pallbearer. So what does the pager do? And what is paging? Right. So as you said, the pager is the person who walks in front of the hearse,
Mm.
and paging is the act of conducting the funeral party from
Mm.
point A to point B.
Yeah.
In my mother's case, he would close crossroads so the cortege could pass by unhindered. And
Mm.
as the hearse passed him by, he'd remove his top hat and
Mm.
lower his head
Yes.
in reverence. Then he would make his way back to the front of the
Mm.
lead
Mm.
and lead the procession once again.
Mm.
The pager is always impeccably dressed
Mm.
in wearing a morning suit, not
Yeah.
to be confused with a morning suit.
Mm.
And I say this because there are two suits. One's a morning suit and one's a morning suit, and they are very
Yeah.
distinct
Mm.
things. So a
Yeah.
morning suit with an
Yeah.
MOURING, morning,
Yes. Yeah.
are for funerals.
Mm.
And a morning suit without the U, MORNING,
Mm.
are suits, formal suits to be worn during the day for weddings.
Yeah.
Right. So he would be wearing a morning suit for funerals, of course. And he would hold his head high as he makes a presence felt for onlookers as
Mm.
they pass by. In the old days, men would remove their hats, and the people walking along the pavement stop and lower their heads in lieu of the person to be buried. Right. Um, the character, the pager, is more predominant in the more rural areas, and I dare say it more in the northern regions these days.
Yeah. Mm.
Right. So I mention all this because recently it was reported that people were posting on the internet claiming that the pager was trying to make it about himself, when in truth he was only doing what a pager does.
Mm.
So walking in front of the
Yeah.
cortege, the people on the internet were saying that he was sort of trying to show himself off. You know,
Mm.
uh, paging the paging origins come from the Victorian era, where the pager used to clear the way for the horse-drawn carriages used back then to carry the coffin and to regulate the pace of the procession.
Yeah.
And also with a cane, they would remove the beggars who
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
normally were gathering to try and uh,
Mm.
attack the mourners as they're going past to ask for coins and things like
Yeah.
that. You know? These days, it serves more as a symbolic gesture of respect for the deceased and
Yeah.
also to add solemnity to the occasion.
Mm.
The tradition does go on, as I said, it did for my mum, but with
Mm.
everything being influenced by planes, trains, and automobiles, it's beginning to be seen as something that is superfluous.
Mm.
For sure, by the people who posted on the internet, for those people who posted on the internet anyway. Could it be yet another homegrown tradition becomes lost because nobody has time for it anymore? Blessed are the absolute ignorant, is what I say.
Yeah. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they say.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
it,
one way of putting it.
yeah. Um, yeah. No, I mean, when my grandparents died and other people I know back when I was back in the UK, yeah,
Mm.
there was the, yeah, as you said, the procession, the courgette, and
Cottage,
courgette, yeah, and
cottage, cottage.
courgette, yeah, and
Courgette is something else.
yes, I know. I was just thinking that. What am I saying? Yeah, and um, Yeah, it's a word I don't normally say, funny enough, here.
No, it's in French. It's French, so
Yeah, yeah.
I can understand.
But yeah, and certainly one of my dad's friends was a funeral director, and he did that. He got out the car and walked in front. He did it for my grandmother, my grandfather, and various other relatives and people we know. Yeah, um, and very dignified. Yeah, and yeah, he did that. Yeah, he did it for about probably 150 meters and got in the car, and then just as it was approaching the final resting place or the crematorium or whatever, yeah, he'd get out again, and yeah, off it would happen again. He'd walk in front, yeah, and yeah, it is a form of respect. It's, if you like, guiding the procession in. Um, and yeah, some of these traditions they might seem odd to some people, but I don't think the British are the only people that do it. I've seen, okay, on films and footage, particularly, I think in the Caribbean they still do it. I might be wrong there. Somebody could correct me. Certainly, I've seen footage, films or things about New Orleans. Yeah, which was where they had the guy in front there, normally in front of a coffin, when they're playing the music. And so I think yes, it's somebody that's guiding it. It probably goes back to Egyptian times, for all I know. If you can think about it, or
Well,
yeah,
in the UK, it's Victorian times. It went
yeah.
back to.
I I probably predates that. I'd have to check
Mm.
on that. But um, yeah, I mean certainly I've always seen it. I mean normally, like you say, just around where the cars, the hearse leave off and where they're arriving to. Yeah. Um, yeah, I did see briefly this. I think I saw it in one of the papers. I saw a headline and I thought, I know what this is about. I must admit, didn't bother reading it because I thought, no, nobody can be that stupid. Um, Unfortunately, yes. Um, yeah,
Yes,
people
they
with some,
can.
yeah. Um, yeah, and like you said, it's guiding the way, it's leading the way through. In sort of the past times, it was probably to stop traffic, to allow procession to go, to inform people. Yeah, I mean, even when I see sometimes a funeral procession in Brazil, not very often, admittedly now, because normally in Brazil we go to a funeral and the body's already laid out in the
But
morgue.
here in Brazil, they bury the body before it's gone cold.
Well, yeah, next day. Yeah, I know. It shocked me when I was first here. Yeah.
Die in the morning, they'll bury you in the afternoon.
Well, better than ruining 2 days, isn't it? Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, my wife was actually shocked when my relatives died in the UK, and we're waiting
2 weeks
2 weeks.
later. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
and it's like, yeah. I mean, I must admit, I mean, here, yeah, they bury you, and then you go to a mass or a ceremony, or have some sort of gathering a week, 2 weeks, a week later, for example. Yeah, when everybody has time to arrive. Um, yeah, I mean, otherwise you're just normally looking at a coffin. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, but yeah, traditions like this I think are respectful. Um, and yes, it is done for the living, not the dead. And it's evidently somebody did not understand the significance of things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think you summed it up with, yeah, everybody's has automation now, cars and other things. Yeah, why is this guy walking in the road? You know, yes, it is.
Why is he walking in the road holding everything up?
Yeah,
Is probably what they think.
yeah. Why is he holding everything up just as an undertaker? Yeah, well, because he is. But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I just think there's a lot of ignorance about, despite us having the internet age. Yeah. Um, I believe that in this report, it was the actual people who are burying their relatives. Some of them complained that, yeah, you've got to understand it. And again, it is a British tradition. Like I said, I come from down south. In the past 20 years, I've still known it happen in the UK. Um, it's not something I really give a lot of thought to. Funny enough, I'm only 55.
Well,
Definitely,
when I read the piece, that's what triggered me
yeah,
to sort of delve
Mm.
I said to myself, well, no, my mum had one of these.
Yeah.
And I said, you know, why are people thinking that somebody who's smartly dressed with a
Well,
certain attire and removing the hat and putting the hat back on again and lowering their head, why is that trying to make it about themselves?
it is drawing attention, but yes, it's not about them. It's about the whole
It's the whole
ceremony, the whole
thing.
thing. Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Um,
They
but
only they only make up a part of it.
yeah, I'd I'd be interested to know if the people complaining have Instagram accounts, they pose and do everything else on and things like that. Yeah. To have them.
They're the sort of people that on Facebook they put the lunch
Yeah.
like the lunch on.
Yeah. Well, yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, look at me. Yeah, yeah. I mean, they must think like that to actually come up with that. Yeah.
Of course.
Um. Yeah. I mean, you do see these, and you're beginning to think that we've got no hope. Really, we're not going to make it, are we, as a society? Really? Yeah. Um.
I think to me, you know, I've sort of pictured this in my mind. It's sort of a stark contrast between uh, what is respectable
Yeah.
and what is somebody that just does not have the time to be respectable. It's you know you can see these cortèges going down the road, and
Mm,
there's a guy at the front
yeah.
who's leading the way,
Mm,
and people at the back are buzzing, honking the horns and wanting
yeah.
to overtake, and you know, and that is disrespectful. That is absolutely disrespectful. You
Well,
can't get any worse on that,
I mean,
unless of course it's an ambulance in an
well,
emergency.
okay, yeah. I mean, yeah, you don't want another fatality, you don't want another death because of that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah, that's understandable. But again, yeah, funeral directors understand that, and they will get out the way quickly, or other road users should allow the ambulances through. Yeah. Um, it is. Yeah, I mean, we live in a very strange world. It's when you're sort of saying about pace and all that. We have computers and things to give us more time, and yet we somehow manage to always be in a hurry more than we ever have been before. Now you're 10 years older than me. I've grown up in this very well, the real crossover between analog and digital age. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
There's one certainty, ironically, with all this, that one day we're all still going to die. Yeah.
yeah.
That's the most certain thing in life. Yeah. I mean, it's yeah, and yeah, people have to hang on to traditions. I mean, yeah, I'll take it one stage further. Who's a funeral really for? It's not for the dead person.
No, of course not.
Yeah, but it's a memorial. I'm going to change the subject slightly. In the UK, yeah, my family, my wife was shocked by this because you know what funerals are like in Brazil when she was there. In that, yeah, she liked my grandmother, my wife did, and when she died, she was horrified the fact we went and had really a big pee up. Yeah.
Okay.
Over.
Yeah.
And my wife was horrified. Yeah, but yeah, it's right. I said, well, I'll be quite honest. My grandmother would have enjoyed her own funeral. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, and that's what it's all about. That somber moment at the crematorium is awful, but then we all went off, and
That's
you
right.
know
That's when you start to celebrate the life that they had.
exactly. I mean, my grandmother died at 94,
Mm.
and she was still driving 2 weeks before she was taken. About that, yeah. Um, and
In that
yeah,
case, that piss up must have been a long one because she had a lot of life to be celebrated.
well, I think people. I mean, she was an eccentric woman. Yeah, she was very eccentric in her views, and everything else could seem very strange now. Um, but she never meant harm on anyone.
No, of
Yeah.
course not.
And she did the Times crossword every day, almost to the end, and everything. One of the most intelligent women I've ever met. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm not suggesting women can't be intelligent. I'll rephrase that. One of the most intelligent people I've ever
People.
met. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, and um, yeah, very sharp still. But she used to say what she felt. Yeah,
Hello.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, I know Steve. Yeah, he doesn't hang back sometimes. Yeah, even I sit there thinking, yeah, that's a good one. But Steve, yeah, Steve has the advantage of age. Yeah, to say I'm old enough to have an opinion, and I'm going to give it. Yeah, but yeah, it is a yeah. I'm all for the older traditions if it's respectful, if it helps other people get over it. I mean, maybe if it was the people all having their funeral, maybe you have the option not to have all this. Yeah. Maybe yeah. You just put the person in the back of a pickup, take them there, lift them
Well,
out.
I mean that can be done.
Yeah.
You can actually bury somebody in your own back garden as long
You
as you
lost.
let the
Yeah.
authorities know
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the UK.
Yeah.
And you don't need to have a pager at the front of your procession.
No.
It's not you actually pay more to have the pager than you do
Yeah.
to not have the pager.
Those
You
packages.
know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so it depends on what the how big the purse is, I suppose,
Mm.
and what your particular desires are
Mm.
for you to send off your loved ones or your ancestors,
Mm.
as the case may be. So, it's not obligatory to have a pager, but
I must, I must admit, yeah, just change it again. I mean, I've been to a couple of funerals in Brazil, and obviously in Brazil, football is a big thing here.
yeah.
And what surprised me is just as they're lowering the the coffin into the ground, they put they put the football club flag over it and start doing the football chants and all that. And I think that's a great way to go. Yeah. Yeah, I've been to one tragic guy, a really young guy who unfortunately succumbed to a motorcycle accident. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that was quite grim. But yeah, they did that. They put the football club out, the football flag over him, and did that. And I thought, yeah, that's the way to go. I know why we don't do it in the UK always, because we're having enough debates about flags as it is without draping coffins in all sorts of different flags. But um, yeah, it's yeah. But getting back to it, I like these traditions. I believe, like you do, in respecting the past life of someone, which is all this is all about. As you said, the pager probably doesn't have any real significance now, other than a tokenism of, if you like, guiding the procession onwards.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's more of
yeah,
a sort of a symbolic thing these days.
yeah,
Although they do close down roads. He
yeah.
does sort of walk out to close down a crossroads or something like that to let the cortege go through.
Oh yeah, I mean, sometimes you plan your route. You don't always plan it during the week by our local crematorium because it's like unfortunately, it's like a conveyor belt sometimes. I must admit, well timed. I mean, yeah, but yeah, they don't, it's a yeah. I hope it's a tradition that continues for those that want it. Those
Yeah,
that
me
don't
too.
want it cannot
Me
not
too.
to have it. We're
We're
not
losing
all.
far too many traditions as it is.
Yeah, I mean, we have. I mean, not everyone's a Christian. Not everyone's sure any shares the same faith. We could do without any funeral pyres, please, in the back gardens. You know, we have enough problems with barbecues every so often in the years. But um, yeah, it is a yeah. People have to accept that people want to do things the way they want to do it. It it's 20 minutes of your life, yeah, and that's it. And please understand why we have these things, yeah. And like I say, if you don't want it when you go, be happy.